Welcome to another episode of the not yet named Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Dominic Clary with Tyler Bridges. Alex, just say your last name. Just go ahead. I'm
Uh,
going to butcher it.
Alex Mikulec.
All right. Alex will be joining us. Um, I don't know if you're joining us forever or Tyler didn't give me the
Oh,
rundown
forever,
on it. Forever? Okay,
forever.
sounds
Oh
good.
yeah,
You just said my friend's joining. I'm like, okay, like another person to talk. I that probably knows more than I do, so we'll
yeah.
run with it.
He's my arch nemesis in fantasy football every year. So
Oh, so
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 you're
he
the
really knows
guy.
his stuff.
Oh, okay. So he's the guy finishing first. You're the guy finishing second. Is what I'm getting from this. And
I'm
when
more like I'm at
He's
the top and he's at the bottom usually.
he's
uh,
he's never won. He's never won in my league.
It's
now
a, it's
have
a it's actually a cool story because last year I was going hot. I was 7-0, and then I actually lost to Tyler, and then I won the remaining games. I was 14-1, looking clear as day with the bye and everything. And I remember clearly I was in Europe with my family, and I'm looking at my projections, and I'm projected to beat Tyler's father-in-law by like over 50 points. And evidently enough, my team dropped 58 points when I was projected like over 140 points, and I lost.
that's always good when that happens. That's
Yeah.
always good. Uh yeah, we have we have a good show today. We're really just going to talk about, this next week and the slate coming up in the NFL, and just some of the things that we like from a fantasy football aspect. Am I missing anything, Tyler, on that? Is that pretty much what's going on? So
Yeah,
you can lead the
no,
way from here on out. You're the man with
yeah.
the master plan.
So we're gonna lead it off. We'll start with the Thursday game, and then we'll cover the 1 o'clock games today, and then tomorrow we'll cover the 4 o'clock games, Sunday night, Monday night. Just want to point out there, the game of the week, in my opinion, is the Los Angeles Chargers at Kansas City, Sunday at 4:25. I think that's going to be a crazy good game for fantasy. Should see some high points there, but we'll start Thursday night. We got Jacksonville Jaguars going to New Orleans, taking on the Saints. The spreads the Saints by one. The over under is 40. If you want to know a little cool fact, the Saints under has hit in every game since November 22nd of last year. So every single game since November 22nd of last year, the Saints games have gone under in every single one of their games. They're on like a 12 game streak with that. So we'll see how they keep it going. Um, who are some guys that you're looking at here? We'll start on the Jag side of the ball that you think could have a good game against this good Saints defense.
I think personally that it's going to be a nitty-gritty game. I see New Orleans pulling out. I think Lawrence is going to have a pretty decent game. I think the script is going to help him a little bit. I see New Orleans winning for majority of the game. I just see it being kind of a not a terrible game, but not a beautiful game to watch, but I feel like the Saints are going to pull out this one, kind of an ugly win.
Yeah, this. So I agree with you and disagree with you. I think that Jacksonville's going to control this game. Maybe not in the scoreboard. Maybe they might be down in points, but they're just going to run the ball with Travis Etienne and let him cook because he's been that good this year. They're going to control the clock, control the pace of the game. Then eventually, once you hit the third quarter, they're going to control that scoreboard and they're not going to let it go. This Saints team, it's kind of hard to see that they are 3-3. It is. I swear every time I watch them play, they lose. I don't know how they have 3 wins. So I can see Jacksonville really taking control of this game and really getting control on the record at 5-2. Also, Tyler, let's just try to do all the Sunday games if we can. Um,
Okay.
Try not to dilute a whole week with episodes. Um, People don't like watching so many episodes. Let's just try to bring it all in one. Because I
Okay.
know me, how I watch podcasts. I like everything all in one bundle. So if we can do it, we can do it. If we can't, we can't. We'll see how it
All right.
goes.
We'll try. Yeah. So looking at the fantasy aspect of this game, you would expect Travis Etienne to have himself another good game. I don't expect a big boom game for Trevor Lawrence here. I don't really know how Ridley's going to perform. Christian Kirk We don't really know how he's going to perform. That's kind of like if you have better options, I'd probably play him just because I don't know how they're going to do. They're expected to do good, so I would expect them to do good. I think Derek Carr could have like a 2-touchdown, 250-yard game. If you need a bye week filler, you can probably look to him. Jamal Williams is coming back this game, so this is something to look at with Alvin Kamara and how the workload is shared between those two. And then you got Michael Thomas, Chris Olave. You're looking at those two as pass catching options. I would expect a pretty good game for Olave. I think him and Thomas will be back on track. I don't think either of them will score a touchdown. I think that will be Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, but maybe someone random might score like Taysom Hill.
I think personally, this is Jamal Williams' first game back coming from the IR. I don't expect the carries to be split that incredibly. I still think it's going to be Kamara's show this weekend. I think for the future it would be something to talk about. But considering it's Jamal Williams' first game back, I'm still confident in Alvin Kamara to get his fantasy projected. I believe it's at around 18.3. I think he's going to clear that. I can easily see him scoring a touchdown and doing his thing this weekend.
Yeah. Well, moving into the next game here, we got the Browns taking on the Colts in Indy. The over-under for the game is 40. Is there any players that you guys want to point out and talk about in this game? Personally, for me, I want to talk about the Cleveland defense. I mean, they're top three, one of the best defenses in the league. I would expect Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss to struggle. I would see one of them getting a touchdown. Maybe Jonathan Taylor will get some more carries in this game, but I really think Michael Pittman and Josh Downs are going to struggle in this game with Gardner Minshew.
I really think that defense is going to be too much for anybody on that Colts team.
This is a game where I'm going to give my non-expert betting advice. And bet the under. Browns just came off an emotional win. Again, it's more in college where the bet the under after like Louisville beats Notre Dame. They're not going to beat Pitt. Like I've watched college football too long where I know that. The NFL, it's different at times. These are professionals, but I mean that's some people were calling it the biggest win in regular season Browns playoff history since they've returned. Hey, name a bigger one. You can't. And I understand coming from the Steeler guy, but that's an emotional win, and that's a statement win for this team. This is a Colts team that has more talent than people can like actually know of. But I think it's going to be a sloppy, ugly, no fun game for nobody. I if you have one of these defenses, or if you could pick up Colts, I'd pick up the Colts defense if Watson does not play, because I don't think this offense is going to do much. Kareem Hunt right now is questionable. Why not? But if you have the Browns defense, there's no reason that you shouldn't be starting them. They don't have a lot of turnovers, but they should get you points with sacks. They do get a lot of sacks. So yeah, it's one of those games where I'm going to give you my betting advice and roll with the under.
Yeah, I'm not. If Deshaun Watson's not playing, I'm not really too happy with this Cleveland Browns offense. If you have Dustin Hopkins, if you're in a league with kickers, play Dustin Hopkins. He'll be blazing some field goals. But if I had to get, I would play Amari Cooper for sure. I wouldn't play Elijah Moore. If you have to play Ford or Hunt, I would play one of them. Maybe they might get a touchdown. Kareem Hunt might get some receptions, but Amari Cooper and David Njoku, if you need a tight end, those are probably the only two players I'm playing in this game from the Browns side of the ball. Moving on, we got the Bills at New England. Over under is 41 points for this game today. Some guys, New England's just a mess, in my opinion. They're just a mess. They're going to be down in this game. They're going to have to throw the football. Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry might be two plays. Other than that, I really can't say anything else for this team. I wouldn't play Ramondre Stevenson unless you have to. Juju, I would not play. I would just try to stay away from this team. What do you guys think?
I agree with Tyler. I mean, if you're not in a deeper league, I don't see you playing any of these guys. There's just too much of a risk factor. If you are in a deeper league, a 10 to 12 man team, I could see you throwing in a shot with Kendrick Bourne. He's had slates of games where he gets a lot of target shares, but that's the thing with this offense. Bill Belichick likes to spread it around. There's not really one guy who's going to see that target share consistently for the rest of the year. But it's just too tough to call. I would start Kendrick Bourne and maybe Ramondre Stevenson if you are in that deeper league situation.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Stevenson, maybe if you need a running back. Other than that, I would say if you have a Patriots player, drop them. There's better players that get the ball more and can contribute more to your fantasy team. It's just one of those teams where they give me a weird feeling. I don't like them. I've never ever since was it Stephen Ridley like 10 years ago? Was that the running back's name?
Oh, I'm
Where
trying to.
yeah, where he had that one really good year. Other than that, even LeGarrette Blunt when he was good, there was no
Yeah, like
to
the
have
touchdown machine.
yeah, with running backs, always stay away from New England because you'll have
Yep.
one running back that will do good, and then somehow
Whoa, whoa,
Burkhead will
whoa.
be their starting running back, and you don't know how they got there. I swear, or
Sexy Rexy.
Danny Woodhead is playing slot and he's playing running back. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I'm
James
anti.
White was the man. James White was the man.
James White
PPR
wasn't in.
machine. James White was the man. I will say that. On the Buffalo side of things, they're going to be ahead. I would obviously you're playing Josh Allen, you're playing Stephon Diggs. In this game, you're playing Gabe Davis. They might try to lock down Stephon Diggs. I'd play Gabe Davis. I'd still play James Cook, and I'd play Latavius Murray. I think they get ahead in this game. Latavius Murray might get you a touchdown. That's kind of what you're hoping for, and he'll get the attempts on the ground and what I think is a Buffalo blowout. But you never know in the NFL. Next game, we got Washington going to New York, playing the Giants. 39 points is the over-under in this game. New York, Daniel Jones will probably play. I see he's limited in practice this week. I'm playing Darren Waller, and I'm playing Saquon. Anybody else on the Giants, I'm not touching.
Uh, for me, I'm taking a risk this week, considering my buys. Taking a risk on Darius Slayton. I think I really liked his game last week. Taking a risk with him. He saw some decent targets with Tyrod playing last week. Uh, it's kind of a nervous play considering Slayton likes to play the slot, and Washington's defense is pretty good for against the slot. But I would really see Darren Waller having a good game considering Washington's terrible against tight ends usually. But I'm playing Slayton this week. It's kind of a risky play again in the league, but I would have to agree with Tyler. Those are the players I'm staking to.
Yeah, if you have Saquon, you always start Saquon. There's no reason not to unless he's hurt. He's one of those game breakers that for fantasy football. Also Waller, he gets targets. Other than that, I wouldn't play another player on this team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday in the episode, Sam Howell, play him. I know they
Absolutely.
gave Josh Allen some trouble, but I think Sam Howell could have himself a good game. Brian Robinson, Buffalo was able to run it in between James Cook and Latavius Murray on New York, so Brian Robinson might be a good play. Curtis Samuel's been hot. He's been getting consistently good, 14, 13 points, stuff like that. I think this is a game where you kind of bench Jahan Dotson. You kind of be like, all right, we're gonna give him a
And
second.
that was a player we were out on yesterday as well.
Yeah, yeah, to be out on Jahan Dotson. Until he proves to you that he should be in your starting lineup, you bench him. Obviously, you're starting Scary Terry and Antonio Gibson. If you're in a very deep league, you need a flyer. Play Antonio Gibson. He's gotten a touchdown the past 2 weeks. He's been active in the passing game. He might be a play this week. Moving forward, Lions and Ravens. Detroit's going to Baltimore. Little bit worried about Jared Goff here on the road, just because if you're starting him in fantasy, you're starting him at home. He's good at home. He's not the greatest on the road, but this Baltimore defense is pretty solid. The over's 42. Who are you guys looking at in this game? Who might have a good game? Who might kind of shut their pants in this game?
I could see I really like Lamar this game at home. I know the Lions they've been putting I think they've been overachieving a little bit on defense. I'm not saying that they're a terrible defense, but I think Lamar is actually going to have a really good game. I could see him connecting with Mark Andrews for a touchdown this game. I can see Jay Flowers catching a couple deep balls. I can see him getting over 20 fantasy points this week, as well as Mark Andrews.
What about Gus Edwards?
I think I kind of back to what Dominic was saying about like New England running backs. I don't trust any of the Baltimore
Smart
running
man.
backs. They have it as a committee, and it just going forward and after watching a couple Baltimore games, it just doesn't seem like they utilize their running backs that much. And if you are playing Gus Edwards or you're playing Justice Hill, it's literally a touchdown pray
Or nothing.
or
Yeah.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a big Ravens guy when it comes to fantasy football. Uh I start Lamar in my one league. Uh that's pretty much it. I'm not a big fan. I hate their wide receivers. I hate their running backs. I liked Mark Andrews last year. This year, I didn't get him in any of my leagues. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Lamar. If you have Lamar, always play Lamar unless he's hurt. Same rules with Saquon.
Yeah. And then the Lions side of the ball. I mean, the Ravens have a great linebacking core. They have Patrick Queen in there, and he's always a big presence. And, Sam Laporta having a good game. I don't really know. I mean, you kind of have to ride his hot streak and play it out, but this may be a risky game for him. Obviously, you're playing Amon-Ra St. Brown. Are you playing? We talked about Craig Reynolds and Jameer Gibbs yesterday. This is a good Baltimore run defense. Are you playing Jameer Gibbs or Craig Reynolds in this game since David Montgomery is going to be out?
I'm sure Jameer Gibbs, the people who drafted him are going to think he's going to have a good game. I would kind of hold expectations with Craig Reynolds in the backfield as well. I'm actually not sure how it's going to go, but I'm not too confident either of them this week, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, and obviously this is your first episode with us, Alex, but I'm a big believer in the Lions offensive line. Uh I was an offensive lineman, played it in high school, played it in college. So anytime there's an offensive line doing work, I always trust them in whoever is that running back. It's one of these groups that's experienced, mixed in with some youth. They have a good coaching staff that can kind of plug and play running backs. That's why David Montgomery, I mean, he was good when he was in Chicago, but he's took it to the next level. Now you have a rookie stepping in, and then you have a guy who's undrafted. I think he played D2 ball, and Craig Reynolds. I like both of them. If you have a spot or buys are killing me this week. I'm starting Reynolds in one league, and I'm starting I'm going to start I forgot his name. Gibbs in two other leagues. This offensive line is going to do it is you just got to trust they're going to figure out how to use Gibbs, and that Reynolds might be the guy they use in goal line situations. I'm going to trust he's going to touchdown or two in this game. I think it's going to come down to inches, especially against this defensive line. Again, if you have a decent Lions player that either whether it's a tight end or a wide receiver, running back, you put them in. I like this team a lot. They know how to use their talent.
I think it'll be a competitive game against the Ravens and Lions. Big two teams that have really succeeded so far this season. I'm not looking forward to playing Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, James Williams. I'm not looking to play any of them. The only wide receiver I'm playing is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm a little nervous to play Jared Goff, but I think Jameer Gibbs might be a really good play this week. Might be his time to shine, have his boom game that he finally wanted. But we're moving on to the Bears and Raiders. Las Vegas is coming to town in Chicago. Over under in this game is 37.5. I'm playing Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Josh Jacobs. I'm not playing the quarter. I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be playing in this game, but those are the three Raiders I'm playing. And I'm looking at the Bears. Justin Fields will be out. He's doubtful for this game. Look for Cole Kmet to have himself a decent game. We were talking about Cole Kmet yesterday, Dom. Running backs, you got Deontay Foreman, Johnson, who's returning from his concussion. I'm playing one of those running backs, not playing both. Maybe pick one, play them. They might get a touchdown, but I'm really excited for this game on the Raiders side of the ball to see what they could really produce against this poor Bears team.
It's just the real question for me in this game is how DJ Moore's stock this game is going to be affected by Justin Fields not playing. I know I have a friend who is really reliant on that Justin Fields, DJ Moore stack. And I think without it, I don't see it being as competitive as many people think. I think Las Vegas covers the spread quite easily.
Yeah, it really depends if Fields is playing, right? I don't know if we have
He's doubtful for the
he's
game, so he's
doubtful.
not playing. Yeah, he dislocated his thumb, I think.
Tape it up, you'll be good to go. The question is Garoppolo playing? Or are we gonna have the ghost of Brian Hoyer out there? That's the real question that this team's gonna have. Um, I don't like if you have Devontae Adams, you play him. I like Herbert, but I see. I don't know what to do with Fields ever. But he's obviously out. Do not start their backup. I don't know who it is. Don't start him. Again, pick up Sam Howell. If he's available, pick up Sam Howell. Avoid any backup Bears quarterback. But DJ Moore, he's that good where the point is going to be for that backup to either deliver the ball to Komet or DJ Moore. They're not really going to look at anybody else. So if you have one of those two, I suggest playing them. Josh Jacobs, I like Josh Jacobs. Other than that, I wouldn't really touch this game when it comes to fantasy. But we do have 10 minutes left, so let's see if we can get through the rest of these.
All right, we got Atlanta going to Tampa Bay. Over under in this game's 38. I'm playing Mike Evans. I'm playing Chris Godwin. I'm playing Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith. If you have either or, I'm playing both. Really, I'll play Drake London too. I think this game's going to be a really good game. It's going to be very competitive. I'm a little iffy on Baker, little iffy on Desmond Ritter. I mean, if you need a quarterback player, if you need a quarterback filler, Baker might be the guy. But Rashard White, maybe you bench him this week. You kind of look at him, you kind of evaluate him in that way, kind of being like, okay, let's see what he does first. You know, he hasn't been really that productive. What do you guys got in this game?
Uh, Tight ends for me this year have been the biggest kind of struggle. I mean, I drafted Kyle Pitts kind of early myself. He's got a ton of talent. People saw what he did in Florida. It's frustrating for me. I know it's frustrating for a lot of other owners as well. He had a really decent game last week. I wouldn't keep your hopes up that high. Of course you have to start him. I agree with Tyler. You start both the tight ends. But I'm hoping that Kyle Pitts keeps doing what he did last week. I hope that continues for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I used to like Mike Evans a while ago. I don't touch him no more when it comes to fantasy football. Um, Even that the last two Brady years. I'm just for this game. Bijan Robinson's been my guy. I know it hasn't been ideal for every game he's played in, but he's still the guy that I'm rocking and rolling with. He was my first pick in the draft, so I just have to trust that he is going to live up to expectations eventually, and we just got to roll with that.
Fair enough. All right, we got the Steelers taking on the Rams in Los Angeles. Over under for this game's 44. I'm going with the under in this game. I'm saying this now. Steelers offense has been struggling. Only play George Pickens. Do not play another Steeler. Bench them all. Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, bench them all. Only play George Pickens. On the Rams side of the ball, you're playing Cup, you're playing Puka. Kyron Williams, I don't know if he's playing. I don't think he is. I'm just starting Cup, Puka, and Matthew Stafford might struggle a little bit in this game. He might give up a pick or two. So I'm not really starting a lot of guys from this game. This isn't really a pretty fantasy football game to watch.
I agree with Tyler. One of my non-professional sports betting picks this week is the under for this game. Also for streaming defenses, I picked up the Los Angeles Rams. I think they're going to give that struggling Steelers offense a bunch of trouble. And with the running back situation, Tyler touched on Kyron Williams probably not going to play. I probably would not pick up either of the backups unless you're in a deeper league. I think there's probably way better options at the running back position, considering there is so many question marks in the backfield coming into this weekend.
All right, my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Boy, are they hard to watch, guys. And I love Kenny Pickett. I'm a ride or die for Kenny. Always will be Kenny Heisman. Always will be Kenny Super Bowl for me. But again, Pickens is a guy to start. I do like Jalen Warren. I think they discovered last week that they need to use him more. So hopefully Matt Canada uses his bird brain and
Mm.
plays Jalen Warren more. The one place I do disagree with you is Pat Fryermuth. If you have him, he's most likely your number one tight end. His production has increased the past few weeks. I would use Fryermuth. I'm not too high with anyone on the Rams other than Puka, really. Yeah.
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup, he's there. Uh,
He's there.
I don't draft him in any of my leagues. I don't know why. I don't have a reason. He's always injured for me. But Matthew Stafford is on my no-fly list for all of eternity. I had him the one year on the Lions where he did not play, and he broke my heart. I'll never draft him again. So yeah, that's all I have for that game. I will watch that game like it's my job, but I won't enjoy it.
Yeah, Matt Canada needs to, in my opinion, be fired. But
He needs to take a hike.
Yeah, Cardinals going to Seattle. Over under for this game is 44.5. Cardinals side of the ball is kind of hard. I'm playing Marquise Brown. I think that Michael Wilson guy, I think he could be a decent play. On Seattle side of the ball, you're playing Lockett, you're playing DK. You have to wait on Smith and Jigba. You have to wait on him. Kenneth Walker, you're playing him. I'm not playing Geno. I'm not playing Josh Dobbs. I think this is just a close competitive game.
I think for this game, Kenneth Walker is going to have a big game.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys talked about it in previous podcasts, but I think a big trade target for people should be Tyler Lockett. I think his stock is going to continue to grow in that Seattle offense. And I think if you're a Kenneth Walker owner, I mean, you're just ecstatic at this point. I think he's going to be a top 10 running back for the rest of the year, and he's a lineup lock.
Yeah, RB1 lock every week.
I don't have much to add on that you guys haven't already said. I agree with you guys. I do like Geno Smith. I always have. I always will. Ride or die for Geno. Go Mountaineers. Other than that, I don't have anything for this.
All right. Green Bay going to Denver. Over under for this game is 45 points. Green Bay, I'm starting Jordan Love in my other league because he was just the best option available. I know Aaron Jones not playing. A.J. Dillon might be a play this week. The whole Packers offense is just kind of like a shot in the dark, kind of risky with Watson, with Dobbs, with Dowds, with everybody that they got. I'm playing Jordan Love. I'm avoiding everybody on Denver. I mean everybody. I'm playing Cortland Sutton, maybe, if you have to, in a deeper league. Other than that, this game's just a dud. Go with the under. Just book it.
I don't really have much to add about this game. Both teams don't really have any fantasy standouts, in my opinion, other than Aaron Jones, who's obviously not playing. The one thing I want to bring up, I don't know if you guys saw, but a lot of people were laughing at A.J. Dillon the night before his game. I believe it was a couple weeks.
The Farm Simulator.
Yeah, Farm Simulator. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Tom, you got anything?
AJ Dillon. That's pretty much that's all you can have. Broncos Nation, let's ride. I don't have
Broncos country.
Broncos country. Yeah, I don't really have anything really for this game. All right, so Tyler, let's hear what you got on the Chargers and Chiefs. It's a 425 game. Kansas City is favored by 5.5 points according to ESPN here. What's your initial thoughts, and what players do you have that you like? There's a lot I like here for both teams.
Yeah, there's a whole lot I really like this matchup. This is my game of the week, in my opinion. For the Chargers, for me, you're starting Herbert, you're starting Allen, you're starting Eckler, and in my opinion, I think Gerald Everett got lucky last week with the touchdown. I don't really like Josh Palmer too much right now, but I think he could have a good game. So if you need, like I said, a deeper league, he could be an option for you if you have them. On the Kansas City side, I mean, Mahomes is just a lock and load with Herbert every week. Start him. You already know that. Same with Kelsey. I think Rashee Rice could have himself a little good game here this week. And then I like Pacheco a lot too. I think this is a great fantasy game. The ball's going to get spread around a lot. I'm taking the over in points. I think this is going to be a banger of a game. I'm really, really excited to watch it.
I agree basically everything with Tyler, what he said. I think it's a great game in both viewing wise and fantasy aspects. Kansas City has kind of been tricky with spreads this year, as well as over unders, but I agree with over in this game. I see Kelsey bouncing back from a kind of this not really up to par game he had last week, and Keenan Allen I think also would have a pretty good game. I can see this easily blowing up to be a shootout of a game.
Yeah, this should be fun, right? I mean, the Chargers are probably the best probably the best 2-win team that you'll get. Uh, I I really like Isaiah Pacheco. I'll go out there and say it. That's my number one player to play. Big fan of Isaiah Pacheco. So yeah, I mean, if you have Mahomes, you have Herbert, you play them. You have Kelsey, you play him. You have Keenan Allen, you play him. There's a lot of just you play him because you have them type of players.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Kansas. You know what? I think the Chargers might win this game as well. I'll add a little cherry on top. It just seems like a classic. They should lose, but they're going to win type of game. But we'll move on to the Sunday night game. This will be fun, huh? The Eagles and the Dolphins. One of these teams are one of the top teams in the league, right? I don't see it any other way. Again, a lot of players to be high on. But I'll have you guys started off. Tyler, what do you got here on this shootout of a game?
This could be a Super Bowl matchup towards the end of the year. You know, Miami's offense is killer. I love the Miami offense. Raheem Mostert, I'm hoping he has another good game. Eagles front is pretty good, but I mean that really hasn't stopped Mostert. I mean, you look at some of the games Mostert has played. He's played the Jets. He's played Carolina. He's played Denver. They haven't really played top tier defenses yet, like the Eagles defense. So we'll see how he does. But you have Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. I'm pretty high on those guys. You play Mostert. You play Tua. I don't really think you play anybody else in that Miami offense. And then when you look at the Eagles, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he still had a good fantasy day against the Jets with 19 points, but I think he threw like 2-3 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. Three picks. Yeah, he threw 3 picks, but he still finished with 19 fantasy points against a good Jets defense. That just shows you that Jalen Hurts' fantasy value is just so high. You know, I think he's the top of the quarterbacks in fantasy football. You're playing basically everybody: Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, DeAndre Swift. I think this is a game just like the Kansas City game where you kind of just play everybody if you have them, because Sunday night football games are always close. They always are. They've always been a good game. So I'm really, really excited to watch this game unfold.
I think I agree with Tyler again. You play everybody you got. I think so far has been the fantasy football MVP this year. He's kind of outshined, kind of truly shown his potential in this Miami offense. I think this Miami offense is the best in the league. It's so versatile. You can go in so many different directions and kill you. I can see Miami winning this game, and I also agree with Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's just the upside of having a quarterback that has that running ability. Kind of gives you that almost like that backbone in case like he throws a couple picks, he's still going to rush for 50, 60 yards. But this is definitely a Super Bowl matchup that could happen. And I'm still taking the Dolphins, though, to take this win.
You know, I have a quick question for you guys before we get Dom's point of view on this game. Who would you rather have on your team? Would you rather have Adam Thielen or Raheem Mostert? Because both of those guys have been unbelievable this year. Mostert?
Well, he's my ride or die. Whether it's Madden or fantasy football, I go as far as my man Raheem takes me.
I mean, I think that's a tough question considering it's two different positions. I actually have them both in fantasy, and I'm going to be riding both of them until they die. I just think Adam Thielen is in a perfect situation where Carolina's game script is going to be perfect for him, considering they're going to be losing majority of their games. They're going to have to throw the ball majority of the time, and that he was on offense. I think Thielen's still going to continue on this line that he's been having.
I think Mostert's more valuable just because of the running back position, but I ultimately think who would you rather have in fantasy? I'm taking Adam Thielen. I agree with you, Alex, 100% what you said. But Dom, what you got on this Miami game?
Yeah, before I give true analysis, I'll tell you what, Miami Dolphins are changing the way that we are going to design offenses in the future. They changed it when they created the Wildcat offense, and they're going to do it again. When you have a spread offense, you want speed, but the way that you play that speed is going to be completely changed. They're changing the game. They have the fastest players in every position. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, they're so much better because they have a quarterback who's accurate. They have a running back who's faster than anyone else on the field. Then you have two wide receivers that are faster than him. It doesn't make sense. And so, again, if you have Moser, you play him. You have Waddle, you play him. You have Tua, you play him. You have Hill, you play him. I think was Arcane out. You might even want to
He's
play
out
him.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, he's out, so don't. But I mean, Swift, you play him. Hurts, you play him. Brown, you play him. I mean, it's you play a lot of these guys. That's pretty much I have there. But
do you guys think when Davin Akne comes back or when Jeff Wilson comes back, do you think that hurts Mostert's fantasy production?
No,
I personally don't agree. I mean, I'm almost positive. I think someone can correct me. I'm pretty sure Jeff Wilson came back last week from the IR.
No, he was supposed to.
Out.
Yeah,
he's still out. I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I can see Akane coming back and getting some touches, but I think Raheem Mostert solidified himself as the guy in that backfield.
I agree.
All right, we need to agree on how to pronounce his name because all three of us have pronounced his name differently.
I think it's Akane. That's what I think.
I'm pretty sure I said Kanye.
Yeah, you said a Kanye.
It's A-Chain.
A-Chain?
Yeah, his name it is the most English syllable way to say it.
Well, I apologize to the viewers.
But I might be wrong too. So I'm gonna look it up and I'll let you guys know. But no one can pronounce his name. I think it is A-Chain or it's A-Chain. It is really weird. It is a really weird name. Really weird name. Yeah, we have one last game for Monday night. Before we get into this, do you guys have anything else you want to add before we get into this and wrap it up?
I'm gonna have some strong opinions here about Kirk Cousins here in a second, but
okay, that's fine.
Other than that,
well, hey, we'll let you cook then. Alex, do you have anything?
I think we basically covered everything that I wanted to say throughout the whole board.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is an interesting matchup here. The San Francisco Mighty 49ers, they take on the Minnesota Vikings. This is with Jefferson out, and you have and who knows with Debo and who knows with McCaffrey. This will be an interesting game fantasy wise because there's a lot of people that aren't playing that you wish were. Tyler, go cook, kid.
I'm telling you right now, bench Kirk Cousins. Oh my god, he was so good.
Cousins.
He was so good with Justin Jefferson. So good. He had the potential last week against that Bears offense to really, truly just show that he could be the guy without Justin Jefferson, and he blew it. 8 fantasy points, 8 from a quarterback. Come on. He's going to get destroyed by this 49ers defense. The 49ers are going to come into the game. They're going to the spread's 7. The over-under is 44. 49ers are going to kill the Vikings. Kirk Cousins sucks on primetime. He sucks on Monday night. I'm so against Kirk Cousins this Monday Night Football. I'm benching Jordan Addison. I'm benching KJ Osborne. I'm benching Madison. I'm basically benching everybody but TJ Hawkinson just because you have to play him. I'm so against this Vikings team
You're
this Monday night.
insane.
I'm so against it. The 49ers are going to just come out there and kill them. I truly believe that. I think this is an Ayuk kind of night. I think they get Kittle more involved. No McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's in, McCaffrey's out. Debo's in, Debo's out. I still think the 49ers are going to kill him. If McCaffrey sits, just maybe look for Elijah Mitchell. Touchdown. I call him the piss missile. He might have a good game, but I'm so against the Vikings. They're going to be down. They're not going to be running it with Madison. Kirk's throwing at least three. He's throwing 3 picks. I guarantee it. Greenlaw and Fred Warner are going to eat them up. That's just my humble, honest opinion about this Vikings team. And I really wish they could turn it around, but they're losing every single game that they'd be winning last year. They would. Every game that was so close last year, it's the same team. It's the same thing. They're just not winning the games that have been close. That's the whole difference with the Vikings from this year to last year.
I agree and disagree with you. I still think the 49ers are going to take this win comfortably. Maybe not as comfortably as you say, though. I mean, we saw last week as soon as those injuries happened against the Browns. I'm not saying in any sort of way that the Browns defense can be compared to the Vikings defense, but it would be interesting to see how, with who plays and who doesn't, CMC out, possibly Debo, possibly out. It'll be interesting to see how that that 49ers offense is going to play out if those players start off
Well,
on
it's also they're going to be playing in a dome. Like the weather in Cleveland was horrible. It was windy. It was a little cold. It was raining. Those just aren't the 49ers weather conditions. Now they're going to be playing in a beautiful dome, beautiful stadium, and I just think it's going to be a murder. Dom, what you got?
I mean, I like Kirk Cousins no matter what. He kind of came on the scene playing for a really bad Washington team, by all means. I'm pretty sure Santana Moss and Pierre Garçon were on that team that he started out on.
Pierre Garçon, yeah.
Yeah, that's a D3 wide receiver and an underperforming Santana Moss. So I like Kirk. I'm also a big Jordan Addison guy. Again, I'm a Pitt fan, so I'm gonna go with my ride or die with Jordan Addison. This guy I mentioned yesterday as well. But other than that, there's not. I'm Hawkinson against my ride or die tight end. But I mean, I like Ayuk. I like Elijah Mitchell in theory. He had negative points last week. I wouldn't read too much into that. If you need him to start, don't pick someone up that you don't know nothing about. Elijah Mitchell might be the workhorse if McCaffrey does not play. Even if he does play, they might rely on him a lot more.
Well, the issue is it's a Monday night game, so you won't. I mean, most of the games will be passed before we know if McCaffrey and Debo Samuel are playing. So make sure to pick up some guys that like an Elijah Mitchell, like that Mason guy on San Francisco, the other running back. Maybe have Ray McLeod if Debo doesn't play. If you need one of those guys where it's kind of like a last hope kind of thing, and they're like, oh no, they're like Debo's not playing, I need a flex, then that's when you kind of put in Ray McLeod. Make sure to switch your Monday night players if it's a wide receiver, if it's maybe a running back, into your flex spot so you have options to, navigate through if some of those guys can't go. But Jordan Addison, I mean, he had the potential. I was saying yesterday, he had the potential to have such a good game against the Bears last week, and he just underperformed. I mean, 11 points against the Bears. I mean, he got his touchdown, yay, but 3 receptions. That's kind of worrisome. I'm benching him against the 49ers personally, and then we'll just have to see how he does next week against his next matchup.
All right. Well, anything else, guys, to add before we get out of here? All right. Well, that's it. That's the second episode of the yet to be named fantasy football podcast. We will have to brainstorm over the
We'll have one next week. We'll have one next week.
Well, that's what we say. Who knows? We'll figure it out. There got to be a good one. We'll come up with it. But yeah, make sure to subscribe on the YouTube page here for Keon Sports. Make sure to follow along wherever you get your audio. Right now, it's under the name of Across the Sports World. It's just the general name, and there's a multiple different shows that get posted on that. I'm not sure what I'll do with that. with the title of that and all that. I might change it. I might not. We'll see what happens. But thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for joining me. Another great episode. Remember, twice a week, we will have fresh episodes for you guys to keep your team updated throughout the week. So I'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.